Well, today's episode is going to be interesting since we all know it's Thursday and it's Impact Wrestling time. As you know, we're building up to the next pay-per-view Overdrive, I believe that's the next. But first things first, we're going to review, of course, Tokyo Joshi Pro Wrestling, which is the latest event that took place on the 24th of October with some interesting matches that are, how to say, different. Not traditional types, but there's some fun ones. But of course, we got New Japan Pro Wrestling with Battle Atom. As you know, we start the quarterfinals of the IWGP World Television Title Tournament. And of course, we have something else that I want to do is New Japan Pro Wrestling the night before Rumble on 44th, which is going to be awesome. I can't wait to see the Rumble on the 44th Street. Is going to be awesome because we got Stardom Girls, but that's another time. But also, we got some news updates to share what's been going on in the world of pro wrestling. So, let's get ready for another episode of Deleted Wrestle Zone.
Are you ready? Get up, get up! 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 Get up, get up!
Welcome everybody to Deleted Wrestle Zone, all things that is pro wrestling with AEW, NXT, New Japan Pro Wrestling, Impact Wrestling, the National Wrestling Alliance, various promotions, wrestlers, matches, and championships. I am your host, Gerard here. So, let's begin with Tokyo Joshi Pro Wrestling. This was on the 24th of October at the Kitasawa Town Hall in Tokyo, Japan. Now, it opened up with this little game that was involving, of course, our current champions, involving our International Princess Champion Mayu Watanabe and our current Princess of Princess Champion Yuka Sakazaki. They had like this little interesting games, like, for example, do someone's hair. That particular round was won by Yuka Sakazaki, and then jump rope was won by, of course, Mayu Watanabe, and a drawing was won by none other than, of course, Mayu Watanabe once again. But the added bonus, who wins the next one, is a cookout. Now, how do they actually win this one? Simple. The referee is the one who gives it a taste, so he had to decide which cooking was better. Was it Mayu Watanabe or Yuka Sakazaki? Well, it looks like Yuka Sakazaki won this round, won this match, and that's how it rolls. Now, our next match is a fatal four-way werewolf match. I don't know what the heck is a werewolf match. I mean, they're not turning werewolves. We have Kaya Toribami, Yuki Inoue, Maki Ito, and Shoko Nakajima. Now, I don't know exactly what's the purpose of it, but it looks like there has to be some sort of phrase to say or whatever it was. So I wasn't sure. Now, if you guys asked me who I thought was going to win, I was like, saying, okay, I don't think it matters right now because it kind of felt like I don't even know what the hell is a werewolf match. But I can tell you who won. I don't know what was the specifics. It was Kaya Toribami. Now, I don't want to say this is another good match, but I just say, I don't know, this is not a conventional match that I would have wanted to see, you know what I mean? But yeah. Now, our next match is a very interesting match. We have Haruna Neko taking on Miyu Yamashita, and she shows up in her street clothes because if you guys know this or not, she recently came all the way from Spain. If you guys know this, she participated in a match for the World Cup. She was not part of the tournament, but she was there, and she still had her gear on. Like, okay, that's conventional, not a big deal. But I had a feeling that this was going to end in the favor of Miyu Yamashita due to the fact we know she's a fantastic striker. She is the ace of Tokyo Joshi Pro Wrestling. But it then ended with her doing like a slam on Haruna Neko. 1, 2, 3. It was over right from there. Now, this is a very fun, interesting development. We had 6 girls come out. and each of them were picked to be in some sort of different type of match. We have, of course, Mahito Kiru, Hyper Misawa, and Nao Kakuta in one team, and then the other side we have Hikari Noa, Arisu Endo, and Yuki Kamifuku on one. So the first match they had is a one count match. So we have Mahito Kiru versus Hikari Noa. Now, if you guys don't know what the one count match is, it just means that's it. It's over. So it's a much faster pacer type match. So I say this is a very interesting one, but I had a feeling that this is going to be a very difficult one because they're going to try to kick out as soon as possible before the ref slams it. But luckily, it was Hikari Noa who picked up the pin on that one in one count. So that was great. One win for her team. Next up, we have a Nyan count rules match. I don't know what the hell is a Nyan. It was between Hyper Misawa versus Arisu Endo. I thought it was a very interesting matchup, but however, this one ended with Hyper Misawa winning. Now, our next one is just a regular 3-count match. We have Nao Kakuta and Yuki Kamifuku. This match was out of control. Basically, ended with a no contest. Now, you probably say, oh, this sucks. Yep, I don't know why it ended no contest, but it should not end it in that way. Now, our main event, this was a very interesting one. It's a costume match. So, certain girls had to dress up with certain people on the roster. Or should I say, past wrestlers. We have Pam Arijuku, dressed up as, of course, the much recent retired from months ago, Nodoka Temna. Raku dressed up as Rika Tatsumi. And, of course, Mizuki had to dress up as, hello, motherfuckers! That's right, Maki Ito. And she comes out singing and dancing, and Maki Ito does the same thing too, and then they flip each other off. Their opponent is Zuzumi, dressed up as Miyu Watanabe. Yeah, she's wearing her gear, trust me. Then Moka Miyamuru, dressed up as Raku. And then, of course, Rika Tatsumi dressed up as Yuka Sakazaki. So everybody had to dress up as the wrestlers and come out in their theme songs. I thought it was so hilarious. But the one person who we all know starts with the fuzz is Rika Tatsumi. Everybody attacks her. But I don't think she likes the idea of, what's her name? Raku dressing up like her. You know? I mean, you know the old saying goes, you got to get it right if you're going to be me. And I think that's what happened. But in this case, it was Rika Tatsumi herself who picked up the win. I think he did that on with Raku, to be exact. But I thought it was a fun match. I'm not going to lie. It was a real fun match. But yeah. So that's pretty much it. What happened in Tokyo Joshi Pro Wrestling. I believe it's time for New Japan Pro Wrestling Battle Atom Day 10. A New Japan Pro Wrestling Day 10 of Battle Atom. I love this whole thing. So let's get started. We have Rohi Oiwa, the young lion, taking on Aaron Henare. I have to say this was a real tough match for Oiwa, but I'd say he put up a good fight, but in the end he ended up on the wrong side of the spear by Aaron Henare. Henare continues to show his superiority, but however, the one thing that's eluding him right now is a chance for a championship. That's the one thing that's been clear from day one, but we'll see what happens. Now, our next match, we have Yuto Nakashima teaming up with Red Narita to take on Chaos members Tomohiro Ishii and Toru Yano. Now, keep in mind, Narita and Yano will be facing each other in the quarterfinals of the tournament of the IWGP World Television Title. So this is more of a preview to that. But however, you can guess that there is no love lost between both Ishii and Narita after what happened last time. But it was a brutal match. But Ishii was the one who took the victory by applying the infamous Boston Crab onto Nakajima. And of course, he had no other choice but to tap out. Next match, we have GBH. Hey, look, it's Hamna. Yep, Tomoaki Hamna is on, and of course Togi Makabe taking on the United Empire with Great Khan and Jeff Cobb. Now Khan shows up all freaking dramatic after he got missed by the Great Muta. Now you know he's gonna get revenge. So there's guarantee that he's going to take his frustrations out on someone on GBH. No doubt about that. In fact, that's what he did. But, however, Tomoaki Hamna ended up on the wrong side of the Tour of the Islands by Jeff Cobb. But there's no, like I said, right now, Khan is not happy with what happened the day before with Muta, costing him the opportunity for the IWGP World Television title. Next up, we got LIJ, Titan, Bushi, and Hiromu Takahashi, all three members of the junior heavyweight division of LIJ, taking on United Empire, that Weasel, Gideon Gray, Francisco Akira, and TJP. Now keep in mind, United Empire, consistent with Akira and TJP, have a victory from the day before. Now you can probably guess that they have confidence, but in this time, with Hiromu in the mix, that's a different story. You know there are going to be some high spots with all three LIJ members who are junior heavy competitors, and I think that's what gave it the key. But, however, it was El Inmortal that stopped the way of Gray and allowing for Bushi to pick up the win. So, that's another win for LIJ, but you know for a fact that Akira and TJP should be worried. They say they always have a game plan. Well, what happened to that? Well, it did not go exactly to plan. Next up, we got Suzuki-gun members Taka Michinoku, Yoshinobu Kanemaru, Taichi, and El Desperado taking on Master Wato, Alex Zane, Hikuleo, and Hiroshi Tanahashi. Now keep in mind, Wato and Desperado will be meeting each other for the IWGP Junior Heavyweight title. However, but the way this match started, Kanemaru had no clue who was behind him until he saw Hikuleo. But man, Hikuleo took out all members by himself in the beginning of the match. And I thought it was great, because it shows Hikuleo is not here to play. He's here to make a name for himself. Now that he's seen the light, stepping away from Bullet Club, he is showing how tough he is, what kind of a monster he can be. That's exactly what he's going to do. But however, I wish he could have won the match, but it was in fact the submission hold by Master Wato onto Kanemaru that actually helped him win the match. So Wato, Alex Zane, and Hikuleo, and Tanahashi won the match. Next up, we got Bullet Club members Geto and Kenta taking on LIJ's Sonata and Naito. I do have that distinct feeling that Kenta and Sonata are involved in the quarterfinals of the IWGP World Television title. This is more of a preview. Now you probably can guess that Kenta doesn't want nothing to do with Sonata until the day they meet, or he just doesn't give a shit. That's one thing about Kenta, But however, it was in fact Naito who picked up the win when he applied the jackknife onto Geto, giving them the win. So, should Kenta be more worried, or should he just try to take things seriously? I don't know. We'll just wait and see. Now, our next match, we have, of course, our next two matches are part of the quarterfinals of the IWGP World Television title tournament. We have Evil, along with that Weasel Dick Togo, taking on Yoshihashi. Now, I was rooting for Yoshihashi the entire time, as you guys know. But Evil, he will find a way to cheat. He'll find a way to use toys to ensure he wins. His desire is to win. That's always been. Ever since joining with Bullet Club and forming House of Torture, that's always been the case. But Yoshihashi was able to pull up a good fight. But however, when Evil applied Everything is Evil, it is over right there. Next match in our main event is Zack Sabre Jr. taking on David Finlay. I thought this match was pretty good. I think it was a really good one, a very statement where, of course, we've seen David Finlay, who's been stepping up his game for the last couple of months, has shown us what he can do. But however, he's taking on the technical wizard, the best technical wrestler, one of the best technical wrestlers in the world. But I have to say it was another jackknife by Zack Sabre Jr. that applied the win, and I have to say it was a really good one. I think Zack Sabre Jr. is one of those guys I definitely could say most likely could win the entire tournament and win that title. So we'll just wait and see when we get there. So I think that's pretty much it with New Japan Pro Wrestling. I believe it's time to move on with Impact Wrestling. Okay, Impact Wrestling. As you know, we're still coming out from the week ago. Now we're heading to Overdrive coming up soon. Now it opened up with D'Amore being in his office, being once again harassed, being criticized by members of the On Honor No More, or formerly Non Honor No More, OGK, Matt Taven, and Mike Bennett. However, D'Amore has had enough. He's saying, look, you keep saying I don't want you here. I did want you here, but he had to hear this from them time and time again. They were complaining. So D'Amore made the choice to fire them. So yeah, they're gone. So like people will say, good riddance. Now, as you know, the X Division title is now vacant. Frankie Kazarian has issued the option C where he'll be challenging for the Impact World title. They started a tournament. There was one that they posted on BTI behind the Beyond the Impact. We have Black Taurus versus Laredo Kid. Turns out Black Taurus won and he advances. But this match is part of that tournament. We have Trey Miguel versus Alan Angels. I thought this match was pretty good. Everything that we enjoy about the X Division is exactly what you expect. But I was not 100% sure how this was going to go. But I kind of had a feeling that Trey Miguel was going to walk away when he applied the a really nice sweet kick onto Alan Angels to pick up the win. So he could be on the verge to regaining the X Division title. All we got to do is wait and see where it takes place. Now, once again, the saga continues about the story surrounding Bully Ray. Now, Bully Ray said he had nothing to do with what happened to Ace Austin. Now, of course, people say they can't trust him. Bully tried to tell Bay and Austin, I had nothing to do with what happened. But of course, they're having a hard time believing his word. So they ended up in a match between both Bay and Dreamer. So we'll get to that in a bit. Now, we do see a little segment with Deonna Purrazzo, Chelsea Green, and Giselle Shaw. As you know, they're trying to prove that they are dominant. Giselle Shaw has making a play for the Knockouts Championship, but however, Chelsea Green thought that this is the perfect opportunity to do the one thing that is right for them, is to get rid of Mickie James by pinning her. So that is one of the things that we'll be targeting right now. Our next match we have just Tasha Steelz along with Savannah Evans taking on this person named Rochelle Steele. We don't know much about her, but what happened is after the match, Steels grabbed the mic, started talking, and then all of a sudden, Savannah Evans just whacked her, giving her her 5 minutes of fame, which Tasha Steelz causing her problems. I don't know what is her deal. So she feels that Impact Wrestling are not giving her better competition. So it's clear, but they're giving opportunities to other wrestlers who should they want to keep an eye on. Now, as you know, we have brand new tag team champions. Heath and Rhino bump into the Motor City Machine Guns. As you know, they made the decision to say they should go to the Moore and talk to him, saying they want a challenge for the tag team titles. But however, on the way to the office, the major players are also trying to make a play for the tag titles, but they were telling Motor City Machine Guns they lost the opportunity against what's their name, with On No More. But of course, we know that Heath and Rhino kept up to their word. They want a challenge for the titles, but however, the Moore decided to give a match between Cardona and Shelley, so that's going to be interesting. Now we jump into the match. We have Chris Bay versus Tommy Dreamer. Once again, the story still continues on about Bully Ray, whether he's playing straight. But once again, Moose shows up, tries to cause another problem. He decided to trip Chris Bay and pinned it all on Bully Ray. Because, Moose is not buying this crap about him going straight. But it ended with Dreamer losing the match, but things did not go exactly according to plan. So we'll see what happens. Now, speaking of what we saw with tag teams, Aussie Open has finally going to make their return and issued an open challenge against anybody. However, they also said that they have their sights set on the Impact World Tag Team title. So we will see where they're going to go, because right now we got the major players. They wanted tag team titles. So does the Motor City Machine Guns. I wouldn't be surprised if Aussie Open entered the mix in a number one contendership spot. Our next match, we have Matt Cardona along with Brian Myers, along with Alex Shelley. I kind of figured this match was going to end in Cardona's favor due to Myers trying to interfere. They're trying to prove that they are the ones who earned the right to challenge for the tag team titles. When they tried to give a stomping to the Motor City Machine Guns, they got their butts whooped by none other than the tag champions, Rhino and Heath. So you can tell that this is not going to be good settling. I know Heath and Rhino kept their word. They want to give Machine Guns an opportunity. They should be able to do that. Now, we see in the back Josh Alexander and Rich Swan talk, a little chat. However, Gail Kim comes out. Gave her thoughts about Bully Ray. She said that Bully Ray taught her a lot of things. But she also put something else to keep in mind, that Bully Ray is predictable, that he is someone you cannot trust. So basically, he understands where she's coming from, so he's respecting. However, out of nowhere, Macklin shows up and beats him up because, if you guys recall, last week Macklin attacked Frankie Kazarian because he did not like the fact, I don't know what was his deal, and then all of a sudden Kazarian comes out and help. Now they do have a little talk about this. Kazarian said that he wants Josh Alexander 100% towards their match in Overdrive, and Josh Alexander feels the same way. But however, they've had a little plan for a one-off tag team match against Aussie Open. As you know, these two are two of the most respected tag team specialists we know. I mean, we know with with Josh Alexander, I forgot what's the name of their team. And of course, we know Frank Kazarian with um, you know, addiction, all that stuff. So that kind of fits in. So we'll see what happens. Next up we see is Raj Singh getting involved with Joe Hendry. I thought this match was awesome because everybody are behind Joe Hendry. I just thought it was the most funnest match I've ever watched. I just enjoyed it. But Raj Singh made the biggest mistake when he called him out. He ended up on what this move is, where he has Joe Hendry has Raj Singh on top, kind of like a chokesign, but instead of the neck, he has him right here on the chest part and slammed him. He calls that the standing ovation, and he won. So I thought it was a pretty good match. I loved it. Now, we see a segment where, of course, Violent by Design, most consistent Diener and Eric Young are talking to someone. Now, we couldn't tell who it is, but it appears that now that they're dealing with, Violent by Design are dealing with Sammy Callahan and all this and that. So we will see what's going on. Now, we do get a little interview with Eddie Edwards after what happened to last week. Now, he just clarified that Honor No More are no longer Honor No More. They're done. Maria's gone. Vincent's in the hospital. The OGK are fired. Kenny King and him are still cool, but they refuse to talk about Honor No More. But he still does have his issues towards PCO for what he did. But he also did not want to talk about the whole thing with him and his wife Alicia after what things have gone out. So that kind of sets in. But right now I feel that Eddie Edwards has one primary mission, is to hurt PCO for what he caused. So we'll see what happens then. Now our next match, we have Vex, Perazo, and Green along with Giselle Shaw to take on Mickey James, Taylor Wilde, and Jordan Grace. I thought this match was pretty good. It was exactly. Now keep in mind, Vex and Shaw has Mickey James on their side. They want her to be retired, to leave once and for all, so they can, rest easy knowing that someone who doesn't respect them shouldn't be there. But however, mistakes were made by them mostly when Shaw was distracted for the title, but it was Mickey James with the DDT thanks to the help of Taylor Wilde that pinned Green. So that gave Mickey James her rodeo continues. But however, it appears now that Green is completely lost focus. As you know, their primary focus is to regain the Knockouts tag team titles, but Green now realizes she lost, but she will not rest easy until she has Mickey James gone. That's what she wants, so we'll see what happens next week. Now let's move on to our last review, which is, of course, New Japan Pro Wrestling the night before Rumble on 44th Street. Okay, New Japan Pro Wrestling the night before Rumble on 44th Street. This is day one of two doubleheader events taking place. This one um, has a lot of very interesting things that took place, surprises for many fans. Now, our first match, we have the DKZ and Kevin Knight of the LA Dojo taking on the reunited Forever Hooligans. Now, if you guys don't know who the Forever Hooligans are, they were considered one of the best junior heavyweight tag team champions, consistent of Rocky Romero and Alex Kozlov. However, much of this match, they seem like they can get things on the right page, but they kind of like to, botch up on certain moments. However, in this case, it did show that DKC and Kevin Knight had everything right in hand when, of course, um, when Kevin Knight applied the inside cradle onto Kozlov. Rocky had no clue what took place, but it ended with the favor of Knight and DKC winning the match. And the following day, they will be challenging for the strong openweight titles against Aussie Open. Now, next match, we have a surprise guest, someone you guys know from ECW, and he's been with many promotions but never wrestled in the New Japan ring. Crowbar, he takes on Mr. No Days Off. I thought this match was unbelievably good. Now, well, Fred Rosser, he continues to impress us despite the fact of he didn't get the opportunities he wanted from his former bosses, but he continues to show what he can do, and he able to apply the what was it he called it, the Sidewinder Slam onto Crowbar, giving him the match. But however, he goes out and does he gives out a big respect for Crowbar, as you know. But however, he calls out saying who's going to be his next challenger, and to our surprise, it was none other than the Foundation, the Octopus, Jonathan Gresham. So Jonathan Gresham told him, that he is the best pure wrestler in the world, but he wants him to say, you have to outclass him. You got to be more classier than him. But of course, Fred Rosser, he said that Fred Rosser is not going to do that. But this is a good challenge for Rosser, knowing that he's challenging one of the best pure wrestlers in the world today. And that's going to be awesome. And I think that will take place also on the following day. Next up, we got Aussie Open. Kyle Fletcher and Mark Davis taking on the Spanish announced teams Jose and Joel Maximo, the OGs of New York. I thought it was a pretty good match, because if you guys know this, they were the original founders of the Spanish Fly, and I think that sets it all. But however, Jose ended up on the wrong side of the Coriolis, giving, of course, Aussie Open the win that they needed. Now, our next match, we have a four-way. We have Mighty Mante, or as we know, Mantequilla, versus Smiley versus Mascara Dorada versus Mike Bailey. In which, ironic in this match, we have 3 out of 4 members of people in this particular match wearing masks. Mante, Smiley, and Mascara Dorada. So I thought it was insane. But it was a pretty good match. I enjoyed it. But however, this match ended once again in the favor of Mike Bailey, who I say looked like he's woken up for almost a long time. Smiley had Mante right where he wanted him, but however, he ended up on the wrong side of the Ultimate Weapon. 1, 2, 3. Mike Bailey picks up the win. Now, our next match, we have the Hot Sauce, Tracy Morgan taking on the King, Minoru Suzuki. You know this is going to be a total banger of a match. If you've ever seen the last time I saw these two, I think ever in the front faced each other was during a Madison Square Garden in 2019 at when New Japan and Ring of Honor had the G1 Supercard, which I know for a fact was good. And Tracy Williams was in the same ring with Minoru Suzuki, pounding each other. But I thought it was pretty good. But it was, of course, Minoru Suzuki who walked out with the gut style power driver. I thought it was great. And of course, before he left, he asked the fans for one last time to hear Gatsi Nuri Nare. I'm like, awesome. Next match, I have to say, is the pound for pound match. I enjoyed this one. Jake Something versus Shingo Takagi. Awesome match. I love everything about it. Total Haas match. I love it. But it took a long time for Shingo to capitalize 180. I don't know how many pumping bombers he attempted, but when he finally did the last one, it sealed the deal for him to pick up the win. I thought it was a great match. I enjoyed. Now, our main event is an elimination match. We have, of course, Team Filthy, Royce Isaacs, Jarrell Nelson, and Tom Lawler teaming up with members of Bullet Club, Jay White, Juice Robinson, and El Fantasmo. They take on the Amazing Red, Homicide, Eddie Kingston. Shota Umino shows up because he's presenting his friend and mentor John Moxley. Then, of course, Chaos members Yo and Kaguchika Okada showed up. I thought this match was great. However, this is how the elimination ended. Yo was the first to be eliminated. Nelson was eliminated by Red with the code Red. Then Red got eliminated by a roll up by Royce Isaacs. Isaacs was eliminated by Homicide with the lariat. Then Homicide got eliminated by was limited by rope thanks to Team Filthy who were pulling him out. Then LP was eliminated. Lawler was eliminated by Moxley with the Death Rider, and then Okada was eliminated by White by throwing him over the ropes. And then finally, Juice Robinson was eliminated by Moxley's the Death Rider. And then finally, Jay White was eliminated thanks to the surprise appearance of Eddie Kingston. I thought this match was unbelievably good. I thought because it was so chaotic, you wouldn't expect. But however, Moxley said that he did not like what he heard about coming out of the mouth of Jay White, but he does predict that he hoped that Okada beats Jay White at Wrestle Kingdom 17 and strip him of the IWGP title. So we can't wait to see what's going to happen next week. Keep in mind, we have the Stardom members roster. The Cosmic Angels, Mina Shirakawa, and Waka will be part of the kickoff show. You should check it out. That's going to be free on Fight TV. And everybody are now speculating that Waka could win since this is her hometown where she was born. And don't forget, the CWA title will be on the line as well. That is something we definitely got to pay attention to. I think that's pretty much it right now with New Japan. I think it's time for news updates. Okay, welcome to our news updates. Now, if you recall, not too long ago, there was talk about a biopic film based on Mayu Iwatani, dubbed as the Runaway Wrestler. Now, if you guys don't unfamiliarize, why are they calling this biopic the Runaway Wrestler? Now, let me give you a backstory about Mayu Iwatani, those who are new to the channel, to explain. Mayu Iwatani ran away from her home. She was originally from the countryside of Japan in I forgot, in a small town, I can't pronounce the name of it. But she left there due to her being isolated from the rest of the world. According to what they're saying, she's been isolated for 3 years. But when she fell in love with wrestling when she attended a Dragon Gate event, and then it caught the eye of Fuka, who's looking for new wrestlers. This was around the time when Stardom was being uh, in the process of being built, and that's how the whole thing. So she left the countryside and moved to Tokyo, and she stayed with Rossy Ogawa, from my understanding. So this is about her, about the runaway wrestler from this countryside moving to the big city where it's unknown to her. And of course, who would have thought that a girl like her will be coming one of the best wrestlers coming from Stardom and becoming the ace of Stardom, now the icon of Stardom. So they held auditions to find the right person. Momo Kogo, if you guys know this, auditioned for that too, but fortunately it did not happen. They picked this person named Anna Hirai, who won the role as playing Mayu Iwatani. Hopefully, maybe one day we get to see that film here in the States. I would love to see that. Now, moving on to our GCW news updates here. Hit 'em Up, coming up real soon, has announced a new match. My boy here in San Diego, Hunter Freeman, will be taking on Jimmy Lloyd. I can't wait to see that. Then we have the Nick Gage Invitational 7. As you know, many I already announced certain wrestlers have been entrant. The latest entrant is number 8. This time is the Blood Fighter Alex Colon. Now, for the match taking place in Providence, Rhode Island on the 20th, it was announced that Masha Slamovich will be in a match against the cutest in the world, Maki Ito. That's going to be a good one to watch. Now, New Japan has announced for an upcoming event that has been around for almost 3 years, Fantastic Mania 23. It's going to take place in February. Now, if you guys are unfamiliarized with this particular show, this is where we have wrestlers from CML come to Japan and interact with the other wrestlers with, you know, I wouldn't be surprised if like Los Nuevos Ingorbenables interact with Los Ingorbenables de Japón, all that sort of thing. So, they hasn't announced who's going to be in the card, but I will put a pin on this one. DPW, or Deadlock Pro Wrestling, for their upcoming event on the 12th of November, World's Strongest. The next match was announced for that, SB Kento versus LeBron Zone. I'm not sure what to make of that, but I'm definitely going to hopefully get to see it. Now, I don't know if you guys know this or not. There's this new promotion called Garden State Pro Wrestling. They only had 3 shows. No one has heard from them since then. I think the last one took place was in September or August. I'm not sure. But they tweeted this earlier saying, "We're alive. That's all." There's still no clear what it meant, but we do know that Alan Angels is the first champion, the Garden State Pro Wrestling Openweight champion. So that is what we do know. Now, now for the Unagi Sayaka watch, as you know, she set up a schedule for her upcoming matches taking place soon. On the 14th, on the 4th of November, she will be in Corkin Hall at a Just Tap Out event to take on Tomoka Inaba. On the 17th, she'll be in Marvelous taking on Chikayo Nagashima. And then 10 days later, she'll be in a match against Maria. Then on the 4th, she'll be in Corkin Hall. I'm not sure yet what she's going to do. So it's kind of interesting now where she's been doing. Um, Keeping a price to that. So I'll be doing more of a Nagi watch. Now, for the much best news I want to put in, as you guys know, JR has been dealing with some health issues, but it was foretold by him. He's saying that he is now cancer free. I have to say, is good news for us. I mean, I'm a big fan of JR as a commentator for what he's done in the pro wrestling world. I just, every time I hear that Slobberknocker word, I think of him every single time. And I use that when I say what great match is going to be, that it's going to be a Slobberknocker, all of that. So it's great news to hear that about JR. I'm so happy. And this and that. So I think that's pretty much it right now. So let's call it a day. Okay, coming up for our next episode, we have, of course, AEW Rampage along with NXT um, Level Up, and I possibly will be doing maybe the New Japan a Rumble on the 44th Street. I can't wait to see that, and hopefully put something else prior before that. I haven't decided what yet. I'll be making that choice today. But I want to give some people some exciting news. If you guys should hear this, as you know, I'm from San Diego, California. I'm actually, as you know, many fans here who I know are waiting for AEW to come to San Diego, but luckily they announced that they'll be heading to LA. And guess what? I'm heading to LA on January 11th to see them. I'm so excited. So I will not be doing a review, but I will be doing like a bit of a vlog of my time in LA, checking out um, AEW, putting some clips of matches, all this other stuff. Who knows? You may see outside the arena. That is something I definitely want to see. Um, I'm not gonna go alone. I'm be going with my brother. I'm excited, and I know some of you are gonna say when you see this, you're gonna say, "Man, I'm jealous." Some of you probably be envious. So I don't know, but I'm excited for that. I'm excited to go to AEW. This is something I wanted to see. To be fair, I never attended a WWE event. I worked the events. If you guys know this, I worked the events, and I did like house shows. I did um, Raw, SmackDowns, those, and I think maybe two pay-per-views. I'm not sure yet if I can remember, but I think that's pretty much it right now. So I'll see you guys in the next DWZ time, same DWZ channel. I must bid all of you adieu. So goodbye, and have a nice day. Bang.